I just worry for Samantha.
She'll be fine.
Pull out of it.
As long as Mike Flanagan's making shit, she's got a job.
Yeah, but her tone of voice still triggers me.
Yeah,
when I hear her talking, I'm like, it triggers my fight or flight, and I'm like. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is I'm watching The Midnight Club, Season 1, Episode 4.
Give me a kiss.
I like this. I like this show. I like everything about it. I like the stakes. I'm just having fun considering the heaviness of the material.
Yeah.
This was so funny. And I love when you can do that. Like when you can play with genre in this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
also, it just totally checks to me that Sandra is like
the
obsessed.
The earnestness with which she was mimicking these things.
Yeah.
But she even
was just off though.
Well, because she had to substitute chewing on toothpicks because she can't smoke.
Yeah. And it was also very ring-a-ding-ding.
Like chatter.
It was very silly.
God, that is one. I think that type of talk is so funny.
Yeah.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are really good at it, and I cannot do it. And
well, I also watched the Snake Juice episode of Parks and Rec today, and April is doing that as like Janet Snakehole. It's very funny.
I know how much you like all those tropes and stuff,
Yeah.
so I figured this was this I'm sure is not going to surprise anybody, but I like Sandra a lot, and I thought this was a great episode for her. This has been a good year for very well-meaning, if a tad misguided, Christian teens.
Yeah.
Laura Lee, long may she live. No, I really like what they're doing, and like I said, I think that Sandra is actually passing way more tests than she's failing, and I think people are not giving her.
Well, I mean, I get Spence's whole deal.
Absolutely.
Like, I understand why he would be pissed for sure. And I am also like on her team where she's like, I was the only one who like had it in me to like do something for group because you took us into a haunted basement last night.
And also the truth and nothing but the truth with like the immunocompromised, like all of that stuff. And I just sort of, and that's the thing is it's like, yes, the language she's using is triggering for all of us.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the language she knows. And again, she was being very upfront about it. My issue with that kind of Christianity is when it's insidious. It's when they're trying, Maria Bamford, I wouldn't get mad, but you have tried to trick me before.
Yeah. If you were just upfront about telling me you want me to join your cult.
That sounds like church.
Yeah.
And I just sort of, I don't know, I get it. I think she's sweet. And also, not for nothing, Spencer has been metaphorically coming for her literal wig since day one.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think that they're handling, 90s AIDS patient is, woof. That is a clunker of a story, of a plot. And I think that they're navigating it really well. I think that Anara? No. Is that his name?
No,
that's Sandra.
I think
Chris Sumter. I had my two S names stacked. Chris Sumter. I think he's bringing a stoic grace to the role. Yeah. And there's a teeny tiny chip, like a potato chip, but it's not alienating and it's not. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You were right. Mark is gay. I just thought he was doing the most. Two things.
You can do the most and be gay.
It's actually a specialty.
They go hand in hand, sort of. Yeah, I did like that. So Spencer has a lesion, which means that the drugs aren't working. 94, there were like okay treatments, but like nothing like what we have now. And also it was like, even how it is now, the treatments were better when you just had HIV. Mm-hmm. So it sucks.
Zach Gilford is bringing such a warmth, such a gentleness. Again, I want to know what show he's in. It's not this show. And I don't say that in a bad way. Sometimes when I say that, it's like, I don't know what they're doing. But it's like, I still can't quite place the show, and I'm starting to get to a point where I'm thinking maybe I'm reading too much into it.
I think, this is not anywhere on the depth of, like, even Bly Manor.
Well, but because, it's like I said, it's like the house isn't giving me, like, there's darkness in the house.
Yeah.
But there's also, like, because I can't place Dr. Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
She's, by all evidence, she's being very forthcoming, very graceful, very almost even nurturing, but there's still a mystery around her.
Yeah.
That was a little bit exacerbated by Shasta. I can't.
Shasta's just hanging out in the woods, giving kids naturopathic
elixirs. We're gonna see your house. It's gonna be made out of gingerbread. I don't know what's happening.
Well, also, like, she's got cameras because Ilanka stumbled onto her property instead of the hospice property. There's blackberries everywhere. I don't know.
There's something.
Also, she's the one who name-checked the Dewey Decimal System, so I think she's definitely
leading.
Julie. She's Julia Jane.
Or yeah.
Or like she was in the cult. She's definitely.
Because kudos to you. You pulled that right out of your back pocket.
Like I should write TV.
Yeah, you keep saying that. And yet,
I don't have a good idea.
So many times people will be like, oh my God, I'm so smart. And I was like, no, you picked up on the very deliberate breadcrumbs, the very conspicuous plot point that the show put down for you to pick up. But, well, I want to say when they mentioned Dr. Stanton, if they'd already said this, I missed it. She lives there. She's like apparently.
They say like because Mark said not Mark. Kevin was like, just don't send me up to Stanton's apartments.
There's also a night nurse that feels deliberate.
I feel like there should be more than one.
Yeah.
Like,
unless it's Rosario Dawson, there should be more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kevin went to prom. It was cute. What?
It was cute, but like
his suit. It was drowning in that suit.
In that 1994 suit.
It checked. It totally checked. Yeah. But
well, Ilanka did his makeup for him, so he like looked okay, and he, I guess, got compared to a lot of people's grandparents that had cancer, and then he won prom king.
Okay. Yes, for him, it has to be the worst. But the other people, they're just trying their best to like relate to him.
But like other people don't get it.
No, I know that.
Because also it was
the
like
road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Because all the rest of the kids in the Midnight Club were like, let me guess, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And he was like, check mark 100.
Compared to a few dogs.
Yeah.
It's an attempt at relating. It's an attempt at being like, I understand loss because I lost, and it's like,
but it's also
objectifying and dehumanizing. And
also, it's not like someone he loved didn't die. He is actively dying. And so it's like, don't talk about your dog who died of cancer to me. That's fucking awful. And so, like, also, as someone whose parent is dead, I have gotten things like that once or twice. Oh, yeah, like, my dog died. And I'm like, did it raise you? Did it make you breakfast? I don't think so.
But he did get voted prom king. And again,
another because one. It's gross. It's just pity. It's gross.
I think the intention was there. I think it was well-meaning, but
you just know that there were like girls walking around school being like, you guys.
Yeah, his girlfriend.
To vote for Kevin because he has cancer. It's so. Ugh.
Oh, I forgot to mention.
Also, it was definitely Catherine that was going around school doing that.
I forgot to mention in the previous episode. It seems like Amesh has issues speaking sometimes, and I don't know if that's specifically related to his.
He has some kind of head tumor. So when it's like,
just like he went into like a frog in his throat place,
and he slurred. It's because it's pressing on a part of the brain. He said blastoma, and he at one point said he was going to go blind. So I assume it's like pressing on his brain and his eyes.
The show every so often gets real in these like places where you're like, oh God. And Amesh and Sandra are maybe like.
No, Amesh and
Natsuki.
Yeah, Natsuki.
We just sort of glossed over.
Sandra's not fucking anyone.
No. we glossed over her story.
Oh my God.
It was Byzantine. I couldn't explain it.
It was like, well, it was just like, like the Maltese Falcon or whatever. So it was like fun though, where it was like a high school, like in a indeterminate past kind of thing. And like,
but I just love that this old timey detective murder mystery was set in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like she's only capable of going so far. And we did bring in a couple of more of the day players.
Yeah.
Like Mark was in that one. And Tim was in that one.
Yep. Yeah, who's the news anchor.
So
it was basically her point was to like apologize to Spencer and be like, I know that like religion sucks for you, but you should know that like I'm sorry for the things people have done to you in the name of religion, and like God just loves love, so you should.
That was all very beautiful.
Yeah.
The fact that her take on cold sores. I had a friend.
It's an STD.
No, I had a friend equally as religious who was weird about that. And I was like, you just have a cold sore. It's fine. And this friend was like, people are going to think that I'm doing stuff. And I was like, I literally would never.
Also, I said it while we were sitting out there. My grandma gets cold sore. Sometimes it's just a thing that happens. You don't have to be doing dirty sex stuff.
It's not. But I just love that that's what her mind could conjure.
Yeah.
Because it's also low stakes enough that she could dare speak its name.
Yeah.
So, we still think something's up with Kevin. We buried the lead a little bit that they did explore the basement. They found the original Midnight Club book.
And Julia Jane's in that as well.
There were paintings on the wall, one of which was of the bench over the cliff.
Yeah.
Which apparently is going to play some part.
Yeah.
And it does seem that they made a log of the stories.
Yeah, and then the pages just turned to be covered in blood.
In the hourglass.
Yeah. And then they found the book. They used the Dewey Decimal System and found like an actual book in the library that didn't have a sticker or anything, but it was right in the right spot. And also the whole episode, Anya was taking her like her orphines, which was very funny. And so she is super fucked up.
Orphan
morphine. So she went to the like recovery room floor first. Or maybe it's attached to their sleeping quarters somehow. Because then Kevin and Ilanka were on the same, they were walking through the same floor to get to where they were going, and the elevator was behind them.
Well, the library is on the same floor as, I think.
Whatever.
The recovery room.
We'll see. Regardless.
Well, Natsuki, earlier in the episode, heard what she thought was Tristan.
Yes, in the recovery. She was like, someone's in the recovery room. And no, that was Spencer. Spencer was like, someone's in the recovery room and it's locked after he got his drugs. And Mark just opened the door and was like, no, everything is normal.
Well, Anya like poo-pooed it, but then...
Yeah, and then she made it back up to the room, her room with Ilanka, and she was super spooked, and she was also like, she's hallucinating. Everything's kind of fuzzy, but then the shadow started chasing her, and then it got her in the room, and so they walked in, and she was like tipped over, and the shadow was still standing there. Ah!
We did have to go back to look. We were undecided if it was meant to be Kevin's shadow.
I don't think so. I think the angle was wrong.
So the silhouette of the shadow was wearing what Kevin was wearing, but that's why I compared it to like Peter Pan or Bram Stoker's Dracula, where I think it was like a dramatic flourish that was meant to leave us with unease.
I was uneasy.
Well,
because it started out as Anya's shadow, but then it stood up. And then it grabbed at her, and it had too many fingers. It was creepy.
So,
yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna go with the next one.